So, okay, all of this to say, what should I be doing? Again, there is no secret sauce, y'all. It's called a marketing mix for a reason. There are a million ways to get to an end goal and a million things that could work or not so much. Sometimes I have a really amazing campaign that I'm so jazzed for and I am all in, and then it flops. And that's okay. That's the game of marketing. You have to be able to do your research, understand what your goals are, and then go for it. Sometimes they fall flat, and then sometimes there are things that you're like, oh, this might be great, and then it takes off. So it's a game of guess and check, and that is the important thing to remember here is you have to identify what your goals are, and then kind of plug and play, see what's working, see what you have your budget for, and see what makes sense for your company and where you're trying to go. So all that to say, you can see this graph here. We have tons of different things, even within digital strategy, right? You can have your kind of more traditional media, your ads and your directories and all of these wedding wires and the knots, and then your social media and your SEO and all of these things. And you're like, oh my gosh, like what do I even pick? And then I had some friends yesterday shared this graphic with me that I think is great. So you're looking at all of these different things. So you're starting with your advertising here. So how do they even know about you? What are the ways that you're putting your brand and your name out there? So that's everything from, a billboard, a print ad, a digital ad, all of these different methods of advertising. How are they even going to hear about you or know that you even exist, that you're still trucking along in 2020? And then we kind of move into that. How can they find you? So once, maybe they've seen you a few times, you're like, oh, I think I've heard of that Whim company. And I've seen their trucks driving and I've seen all these things. How are they going to find you? Or if they don't remember your name, are you being found on Google? How is your SEO? Are you showing up or are your competitors showing up? And then from there, once they find you, are they trusting you, right? So I'm sure we've all dabbled with Wedding Wire and the Knot and all of these directories in different places. And for a bride, how overwhelming, right? To see 50 caterers all lined up that all have these beautiful pictures and all seem like they're great. So why are they going to pick you? So if I'm looking at a caterer and to me, they look, similar. If I'm seeing somebody that has a 2-star rating and a 5-star rating, guess who I'm going to pick, right? And then we go into social. There's all of that content. Do they like you? Do they stand behind who you are as a business? Do they relate to you? Does your aesthetic match? Are they excited about doing business with you? That's where your social media comes in, and we'll kind of dip into that later, but your brand is everything. Do they want to do business with you? People want to do business with people that they like. That's just the truth of it. And then when we get to your website, that's kind of where you're closing the deal. Are they able to find the information that they came to find? Are they able to easily connect with you? If they spend 5 minutes trying to find a contact or an email, they're out, they're gone. So all of that to say, hopefully not overwhelming, but there are so many different elements that play into this. There's not one certain thing. I have people all the time, Courtney, what should I spend my advertising dollars on? Or, Courtney, what's the best thing to do for my company? The long of the short is it's a mix of a lot of things. And so we'll kind of backtrack to how you decide what those things are. So the big thing I always ask, and I'm a big why girl in our company, right? I'm always like, well, what's the why? What are we trying to do? And then from there I can advise. So what do you want them to do? So you have to understand who your client is. So all of their demographics, what is their gender? What is their age? Because of that, that's going to dictate how they want to be served information and how they want to be connected with. I have a lot of our younger couples who reach out via DM and they're like, can I get pricing on Instagram? And I'm like, girl, you think I'm going to pop out a whole proposal via, Instagram DM? That's what they expect, kind of. So it's just knowing who your client is, how they want to connect with you, and then developing your goals backwards. So even within our multiple brands, my goals for our catering and our catering client are totally different even than our rental client. And then we jump into the kind of Camp Lucy side of things and our Camp Lucy brides versus our Camp Lucy hotel clients. And so you have to really understand who it is that you're targeting and what you want them to do. And then you can find clever ways to kind of reverse out. And another meme, as promised, wouldn't leave you hanging.